All right, if I could have your attention in the media center, we're going to go ahead and start today's media availabilities in advance of Sunday's AAA Texas 500. We are now joined by Joey Logano, driver of the number 22 AAA Insurance Ford. Joey, before we open it up, can you tell us a little bit about your morning and the event that you took part in?
Oh, of course. We did a great event with AAA out front and about distracted driving and driving while intoxicated. And it was a great little experiment. We had a closed course set up out there, and we had a lot of young drivers that just got their driver's license and teaching them what it's like to be driving distracted. So they made a lap without being distracted, and then I would start texting them and making fun of them or doing whatever I can do and seeing whether they hit something or they forget how to spell. So it was either one or the other, but it was a lot of fun to see. And it's a good reminder for all of us, too. You know, a lot of times it's so easy for us to pick up our phone when we have a text or a call coming in, and sometimes it's really worth just putting your phone down for 10 minutes before you get home or wherever you're going and finish it later, because I think we all take it for granted. A lot of times just driving down the road, we all do, and it just takes a split second. You know, I don't know how many times I see people swerving or just looking up and almost getting in a crash, and you know they were doing something in their car. So it's a good eye-opening experience for them, but also for me too.
Absolutely. Was there some kind of bump and run or something that also?
We hit a lot of cones. If that means anything, we killed a couple cones out there, so there wasn't much to hit.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and open up the floor to any questions. We'll start with Dustin right up here, and then Wolfgang.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Joey, were you surprised that Martin texted you, and really does anything different come out of than what we saw out of the reactions of what you said and what he said on Sunday at Martinsville?
No. I mean, it was, I can't say I wasn't surprised that he texted me. I was actually kind of glad he did. It kind of broke the ice. I was planning on waiting a couple days to let things kind of settle, so it kind of got a lot of things out of the way there, you know, so we both know where we stand. But, yeah, that's, you know, we know where it's at. You know, is what it is, and we move on.
When did he text you, Sunday night or Monday?
Sunday night, yeah, when we got home. I was actually driving, so I had to wait until I got home. So it really worked out well.
All right, we're going to go to Wolfgang.
Wouldn't make any sense if the AAA driver texted on the way home. That would be really bad.
We'll go to Wolfgang.
Joey, just a technical question. I was saying everywhere in motor racing, it's an ongoing development for the race cars. Is the car much different from the start of the season, Daytona, until to this race? Anything new in aero package or engine-wise?
Yeah, there's constant development. You know, we're always working on, body specs and engine specs and how we can find a little bit more here and there, and especially through the playoffs. It seems like that just gets ramped up more and more, that everyone's just trying to, find that little bit. And that's what the playoffs are about. You know, everyone's got to bring their A game. You got to bring the best you got. Not only the driver and crew chief and road crew and pit crew, but everyone even at the shop that's, you know, building these things. We're asking a lot out of them to build cars really quick and get those updates from the wind tunnel to the racetrack quicker. You know, all that stuff is, you know, everyone's got the pressure on right now and pushing as hard as they can.
I'm going to go right up front to MRN.
Woody Kane with MRN. Joey, I want to get you to look ahead a little bit to Phoenix next week and your expectations for moving the start-finish line to what was coming off of Turn 2 and how you think that might impact the race.
I think it makes Turn 1 pretty exciting, or Turn 3. I guess we're calling it Turn 1. Are we just going with the whole number change right now? Okay, here we go. But I do think, you know, where the start-finish line is, where the restart box is, and, you know, most of the cars are going to be restarting in the turn. You know, the cars that are 15th-ish or maybe even closer to the front to that will be in the turn, it seems like. I haven't seen it yet, but it seems like that. And then obviously you can cross that start-finish line, and there's a lot of real estate to go down low that we always use, right? So I can see a lot of cars making those big moves, and how Turn 3 has that very inviting apron down there with no grip at all. And there's a lot of cars that slide a lot on cold tires there. Seems like with low pressure and cold tires, the tires really want to chatter on the racetrack. It just can, and once they start chattering, it's hard to kind of stop it because it's like a basketball. And you'll see a lot of cars slip up, and if there's a car on the outside of them, it'll cause contact for sure. So I think it's going to make restarts a lot crazier than it used to be. Because you used to just go down into turn one, and it's pretty much 2 lanes. 3 wide really wasn't much of an option there at all. So this will definitely open up a lot of options. So I think that's going to be the biggest change to see. So I think that's good. And the other challenge that was at Phoenix all the time was the start-finish line and the restart box was going straight. We think like here at Texas, you have the dog leg and stuff, so you're able to see if someone's missing a gear or spinning their tires. And a lot of times if someone misses a gear there, you just can't see because all you see is spoiler before. So this should kind of help that as well.
I'm going to go to Lee.
Lee Spencer, RacingBoys.com. I know Todd looks at a lot of game film, but I'm just curious. You have a good idea who the other 3 might be at Homestead, or at least, you know, we've talked about the big 3 all year. As a race team, do you guys look at their footage? Do you kind of analyze what they're doing, like a football team or a baseball team analyzes their opponent going into, you know, big games?
Of course, we analyze everything that we can analyze. You know, there's a lot of stuff that obviously is in other race teams that we can't analyze, but you know, what's available is what we use, and we'd be dumb not to use it. You know, I think a lot of times you got to also take it with a grain of salt and say, hey, you know, what they're doing may not work for us, but it's also good to know kind of just their traits. And, you know, I look at races differently than Todd for different reasons. You know, I'm looking at it as a driver standpoint and moves that are made and lines on the racetrack, and Todd may look at things as a strategy and things like that. So it's funny because we'll both watch a race, and, you know, I'll come back to him and say, did you see this and this and this? And he'll ask me about something completely different that he saw. And so it's good that we can kind of collaborate afterwards. And like I said, we look at just different things because we have different jobs. So I think that's a good thing.
You've been there twice before, you know, in this format. What do you personally do to prepare? And, you know, finally, I guess, would there be 3 opponents that if you could choose to go, you know, that would make it to Homestead, who would that be?
That's a good question, and honestly, it doesn't matter who they are. We got to win. You know, I think that's the bottom line. Every year, the race winners win the championship, so we need to win no matter who it is. You know, so I think everyone just is able to raise their game when they get to Miami. That you find that it's racing for the win at that point. So, you know, I honestly don't think it matters because you have to beat 40 or 39 cars.
So you might take a more of an offensive approach going to Homestead than defensive.
I think you have to. You don't have anything to lose. You know, I'd say we made it further than maybe we thought we were going to even. You know, so our team has really picked it up here the last, you know, 8-9 weeks where we've led a lot more laps and we're running in the top 5 a lot more and won a race. So, you know, a few weeks ago, I'd say we're the underdog, and now I don't feel like that at all. So I think, you know, at this point, we're in great shape. We have a great advantage by being there already, and I think that's the approach we have. We're an aggressive race team all the way through. We're going to be on offense when we get there. Thanks.
We're going to go to Jessica and then Jerry.
Jessica Ruffin with NASCAR.com, right in the center.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You were getting blocked.
You know, with having clinched a spot in the championship already, how does that change your approach heading to this weekend and then next weekend as well? Are you able to take more chances or things like that?
Yeah, we don't have anything to lose, and that's pretty cool to race like that, especially this time of the year. So that's nice. There's you know, still a trophy to win, so we focus on winning that trophy. You know, Todd and I were in the trailer a few minutes ago, and we were going over a lot of the notes and getting ready for qualifying this afternoon and what we're going to do and what I need to look for. You know, so it's not like we've just come here and said, hey, let's take a vacation. That's not what we're doing. We need to continue the success that we've had here the last few weeks, continue that momentum into Miami, so it's important for us to run well. But like I said, the advantage of being able to focus in on Miami and making that car as great as possible, you know, we have that advantage to be able to start doing that now. But I also don't think it's worth throwing away these races at this point either.
I'll go to Jerry and then back here to PRN.
Jerry Jordan, kicking the tires.net, PRN. Joey, obviously we saw last year when the performance was not where it needed to be, and then where it got to Now, is this vindication for you to make it to the Final Four? Do you have something to prove?
I think you always have something to prove. No matter what it is, it's a performance business, right? It's what it is, and it's like that for everybody in here, right? You got to perform unless you're out looking for a job. Been there, done that. So, after a year like we had last year and missing the playoffs after finishing second in the points, that's a big hit to take. That one hurts. And I'm proud of the rebound this year that we've had. We've been consistent. We've kind of been maintaining. We've been up towards the front in points all year long, and now winning, maybe one of the most important races to lock ourselves into the championship four. It's huge for our team. It's a heck of a rebound to have that. So I couldn't be more proud of our race team, of Todd and the whole 22 team and all of Team Penske for improving throughout the season to put ourselves in great position to hopefully win a championship.
All right, we're going to come up here behind me to Mark.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Joey, yesterday Clint Boyer said, when asked about your move last week, if he would have done it, he said, my gosh, yes, and so would Martin Truex Jr. Has that been the general consensus of the other competitors that have reached out to you this week, or do you get the sense that everybody, after the dust has settled and has looked at it, went like, that was a good move?
I think the majority of them have supported it, supported the move, and it's the position that our sport puts you in the playoffs. You're in the playoffs. You have the opportunity to lock yourself in the championship four. You don't know what's going to happen in the next two races. It's right there. It's Martinsville. It's classic short track racing that we've seen 100 times, and like I said after the race, some fans love it and some don't. Either way, you're going to have plenty of questions afterwards. If you don't do it, it's why didn't you do it? And if you do it, everyone's going to, half are going to be happy and half aren't. So, I guess I'm not here to make everybody happy. I'm here to do my job and for my race team. And I said it after the race that they did such a great job all day long, and we led 300 laps. And, if you don't try to win the race, I would expect them to be very disappointed in me as a driver for them. So, it was the classic bump and run. There's no crashing. There was no, cars backed into the wall. It was just a little bump up and just enough to get there. And then we had that classic drag race and a cool finish for everybody.
All right, we're going to go over here to Jerry.
Jerry Fraley, Dallas Morning News. Joey, based on the text you received, is everything cool with you and Martin, or does your head have to be on a swivel for a while?
I think it's time will tell. I think obviously he was a little frustrated, and that's part of it. But I also think it's short track racing, and like I said, there's all of that on the line at that point. And I think we both probably kind of understand that there's so much on the line that's kind of what happens sometimes. And like I said, it's short track racing, and that bump and run move, although that was probably the most popular one of the whole race because it was for the win on the last lap, but I'm pretty sure it happened about 10 or 15 times before that that did not get covered, right? So it is a classic move in NASCAR that happens a lot every time we go there, whether it's on lap 20 or lap 499.
All right, we're going to go to Jerry, and then Chris, and then finish up right here in the back.
Jerry Jordan, Kicking Tires on PRN again. I had one more, and on that move, someone brought this to my attention last week, and they said, somewhere, Dale Earnhardt was looking down, smiling on you at that move. Did that cross your mind that was a move that he'd done 1,000 times before?
I can honestly say nothing crossed my mind like that in the moment because there's a lot of things going on. But I know it is something that I've seen plenty of times by a lot of greats in our sport. And I'm not trying to compare myself to Dale Earnhardt. I know I'll never be who Dale Earnhardt is. I want to be the best Joey Logano I can be, not the best Earnhardt or Gordon or whoever they are. I'm trying to be the best of myself. And, does it solidify the move any? I don't know, maybe. But I think, it is something that I grew up watching plenty on TV as a kid.
Chris,
9catchfence.com. Joey, Ford hasn't won a Cup championship since 2004 with Kurt Busch. Have you given any thought on what it would mean if you guys and Team Penske were able to overturn that?
I don't have to give it thought. I get reminded plenty of times that how big of a deal it is to win a championship and a manufacturing championship as well for Ford, which they're doing well in right now. So, yeah, we want to. Yeah, of course. we know how big of a deal it is to do that, and not only for Ford, but for Roger Penske, for myself, for Shell, for our race team. For the, I brought it up last week, but how it affects everybody's livelihood. Like I said, we're a performance-based business, and there's a lot of bonuses that come along with winning a race and winning a championship. So there's a lot of people looking at us to make it happen, and it affects their life personally a lot. So it's nice to have that support behind you, and I like that pressure. That's a cool place to have that.
And where does Homestead fall on as far as your places of favorite tracks or not favorite tracks?
I don't think there's a driver that doesn't like Miami. I think everybody likes it. It's such a cool place. It's wore out surface, a lot of slipping and sliding. Tires wear out, running at the bottom of the racetrack, running right up next to the wall. It's just a cool place that you can find some cleaner air. You can do some things. It's just a cool place to race for sure.
All right, and unfortunately we've run out of time. So Joey, thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, cool. Thank you, guys.